Kakadosh, Boker Or, Mishnayot, Masechet Eduyot. Masechet Eduyot, Perek Zayin, Mishnah, Vav, and Zayin. So this is chapter 7, Mishnah 6 and 7. Okay, we're continuing with all the different types of Eduyot. So here we have another Edut again, Heid Rabbi Yeshua of Papias. Yeah, so we have Rabbi Yeshua and Papias. They both testified al Vlad Shel Shlamim, Sheikrav Shlamim. What does that mean? If you have a child of a Korban Shlamim, it should be offered as a Shlamim. Why? Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Shevlad Shlamim no Yikrav Shlamim. Rabbi Eliezer says the offspring should not be brought as a Shlamim because of a decree de Rabbanan. That means they said that if you have the owner of a Shlamim would be allowed to bring its offspring, he might purposely delay it so it could give birth, and then he's going to have more Shlamims. So over time, he might forget that the animal Bichal was Kadosh even. So therefore, they didn't want to do that. Okay, so he says, Chachamim say, no, you could bring it, no problem, bring it as a shlamim. So again, this was a testimony that they both heard. Okay, that the sage's ruling is correct. So he says, Amar of Papias, says Rav Papias, Ani me'id shayta lanu paraz ivche shlamim. I testified that we had a cow that was actually a shlamim. V'achalnu b'Pesach, we ate it during Pesach. V'achalnu v'lada shlamim b'chag, and we ate the offspring as a shlamim on the Chag. What was the Chag here? Here it's talking about, for example, Shavuot. So usually when it says Chag, it obviously refers to Sukkot, but here it can mean Sukkot, right? Because the Torah says you cannot bring something after it's already passed the different Chagim. So it has to be brought before the next Yom Tov. So for obviously here, this Chag has to mean Shavuot. That's what's brought down in the Ravadim Betanura. So therefore, obviously what they were testifying is that the Vlad Shlamim can be brought as a Shlamim, right? That's like Chachamim, not like Rabbi Eliezer. Okay? Fine. So that was the first Mishnah. Mishnah Zayin. Hem העידו על הרוחות של נחתומים. So the same two, again, Rabbi Yoshua and Rabbi Papias, they also testified about the wooden boards of bakers. Okay, the nachtom is a baker. So here we're talking about the wooden boards of bakers, which they usually put the loaves of breads. Okay, shehen tmeot, that they could become tameh. That means even though they're flat, now we have a usual rule that in order for a wooden utensil to become mekabel tuma, to receive tuma, it has to have a kli kibul, it has to have a receptacle, but it can be flat. Here, it's going to be flat and it's still going to become tameh. Okay, why? Because they resemble vessels, right? That's what's brought down, meaning it's a rabbinic decree that they look like vessels. So since they look like vessels, we said no, that it's going to become tameh. Rabbi Eliezer metaher. So here, beforehand, Rabbi Eliezer was machmir, the Chachamim were mekilim. Rabbi Eliezer said that you cannot bring the child of a shlamim as a shlamim. Chachamim were mekilim. Here it's exact opposite. Rabbi Eliezer says that this flat utensil, right, this flat board is going to be tahor, okay, and it cannot become tameh. And according to Rav Papias and Rav Yoshua, they said that it is going to become tameh. Okay, another testimony. Hemiidu, they also testified. Al tanur shechatchu chalyot venatan chol ben chulya lechalya. What happens if they come and they cut the oven into rings, like horizontal pieces, and then they reassembled it by piling up the pieces on top of each other, right, and putting sand between each piece. Yeah, so you come and you put in between. So he says, Shu tameh, it's going to be tameh. He says, why? Because the outer layer of clay is connecting all the pieces together, and then they make it into a utensil. Rabbi Eliezer again is metaher. So here again, Rabbi Eliezer is going to be metaher. So they were testifying that it's tameh, and Rabbi Eliezer was metaher. The next two are going to do with leap years. So, הם העידו שמעבירים את השנה בכל אדר, שהיו אומרים עד הפורים. They testified that you could actually make it until a leap year. Everything that we mentioned, that means basically in the olden days, it wasn't like nowadays. Nowadays, Hillel made a calendar. So once you have the calendar, you know when's a leap year. You know this year and then whatever it is, in the 3 or whatever, you already know when's a leap year. The olden days, they used to actually make it into leap year. So they testified that you could make the entire month of Adar, right? Again, into a leap year if it was necessary, right? Why? Because Chachamim said that you could only do it until Purim. Once after Purim, that's it. You can't make it. Because they said that if you're going to do it after Purim, it could cause a big problem because then 30 days before each Yom Tov, they start learning about the halachot of Yom Tov. So therefore, imagine right now, they already started on Purim, and because Purim is always 30 days before Pesach, and then, right, all of a sudden, if they're going to make it into a leap year afterwards, until the people might not believe the messengers, and then it's going to become a whole balagan, because they're going to say, no, but we already started learning it, now it's Pesach, and then they might start eating chametz on Pesach, so it's a big problem. According to Yoshua of Papias, however, no, they don't care. people know that it could become a leap year, and therefore they know it depends upon the calculations, and therefore even if the guys are going to come afterwards, they're going to believe them. Okay, another one also, Hemeidu, Shemeabrim et hashana al tnai, that they could also make it into a condition. What does that mean? If the Nasi is unavailable, so they can make it on condition that the Nasi agrees, because basically the Nasi was the final stamp, right? That makes it into a leap year or not. So they could come and they could say, okay, we're making it a leap year on condition that he agrees. Maaseh ben Gamliel, there was a story with Rabbi Gamliel. He was the Nasi. Shalach li tol Rishut me'egmon b'Suria v'shalavo. He went to request permission from the governor of Syria regarding something of the community, and he was delayed in coming back. Vibru et hashana al t'nai l'shirtzeh Rabbi Gamliel. So they went and they made it on condition that it's going to become a leap year as long as Rabbi Gamliel would agree. When he came, he says, Rosani, he said, yes, I agree. And then it became obvious Hashana Meuberet automatically. It became a leap year